Good afternoon, fellow Guyanese. This afternoon, I wanted to take some time to address some important subject matters as we confront the next 5 years. And one of the important issues that I want to discuss today, in a very brief way, is how do we reduce poverty? How do we address the issue of poverty, of which cost of living, of which economic empowerment, of which developing and building the economy are all part of it. Now, in addressing poverty, we have to look at economic growth from a wide perspective. We have to look at ways in which we create safety nets within our societies, ways in which we enhance access to essential services like health, education, water, infrastructure. And then how do we build specific measures to address different forms of vulnerabilities and create opportunities for the poor? So, in addressing these concerns, creating wealth, expanding the economy, creating safety nets, and access to essential services, we have defined a very clear strategy because these are the important factors if we are to address issues of poverty and, of course, cost of living. We have demonstrated how in the last 5 years we reverse more than 200 taxes. No new taxes or no increase of any taxes was brought on to the Guyanese people. We have expanded our social program covering every segment of the population, so communities that are vulnerable, people that are vulnerable, addressing children, women, pensioners. But how do we intend to take this forward? And not only take it forward, but to ensure we build in a systemic way. Because to address these issues comprehensively, we have to do it in a systemic way. We have to do it in a way in which the policies and programs do not only address the short-term challenges, but the policies and systems that we build would address holistically the long-term challenges and create economic growth, expansion, and allow a social safety net to be built around opportunities for the poor. So we have crafted some very specific issues in addressing poverty, in addressing cost of living, all aimed at ensuring all of our country grow in this period of economic expansion. Now, what is it that is important in addressing these issues? Now, a lot of people speak about salaries, grants, direct cash transfer. Those are things that we are already doing. Those are things that we'll continue to support because they're essential in addressing vulnerabilities. So, for example, the increased salaries for public servants and other workers, the support to our farmers, the increases in old age pension, public assistance grants and program, the NIS pension, the Because We Care grant for our school children that will be expanded. All of these are things that we have done and that we'll continue to do. We will also provide additional cash grant support for individuals. We have already said that we'll reduce the cost of electricity by 50%. We'll reduce the cost of gas, and that is cooking gas, which is essential. And remember, addressing poverty is also how we address essential services. And cooking gas is an essential service. Reducing that by half is addressing poverty electricity. Reducing that by half is an essential service. So when you have not only accessibility and reliability, but the cost of energy coming down by half, that directly address poverty because it's an essential service. Similarly, with the gas project coming on stream, cooking gas is going to come down substantially. Substantially. We are targeting a cylinder of cooking gas at $1,000. Now, that again is another essential item. That's another essential item that will reduce poverty, that will save for the household. Then you have other essential goods and services. Take, for example, education. Now, we're removing every cost associated with education from the ordinary family. Textbooks, primary education, secondary education, free university education, transportation grant, the Because We Care grant, expanding the school feeding program because we want to address specific vulnerabilities that exist in societies also. So in a targeted way, addressing these vulnerabilities through these specific initiatives, like the school feeding program, the backpack program, the 8-subject CXC, paying for 8-subject CXC, ensuring that we build out educational infrastructure, investing not only in the buildings and the textbooks, but the labs, so that our children can have and achieve their full the potential by this investment we are making in an essential service like education. Similarly with water and electricity again, we took out the VAT from water and electricity, now ensuring that every single family can enjoy treated water, high quality water, again, addressing an essential service that is linked directly to poverty reduction, ensuring that there is no increase in the cost of water. So these are areas in which essential services are addressed. When we build out the infrastructure in the communities, the roads and drains, it takes up the value for properties. When and as we move into the next 5 years, we've said that we want to ensure that our people have access to greater opportunities in owning their own home. So we're going to provide more subsidies, more direct support to families, especially the poorer families and the vulnerable families. Give them enough support so that they can move to home construction, so they can move to home improvement. And then work with the banks on incentivizing the system to reduce the tax burden on low income segment of the population, but at the same time have the banks lower their interest rates so that borrowing becomes easier, less costly, and there is less collateral requirement because of a government-backed system that is skewed towards those who are poorer in our society, and that is skewed towards providing greater access and opportunity for the poorer segments of our communities. That is why we have said also that we want to develop this development bank that would support directly small and medium-sized enterprises. The government will be able to co-invest to support not only through grant but through matching initiative to support small businesses, small enterprises, community businesses. All of this will help to expand the economy. When we expand the part-time job program, it is more disposable income in the homes. It is more disposable income to the family. And not only expand it, we said we want to upskill those persons so they can earn more on the part-time job program. That builds economic wealth. That builds economic prosperity. And that addresses single mothers, that addresses specific vulnerability within our communities and within our society. So these are some of the initiatives that we are expanding and growing out as we confront the challenges of the future. We also have to ensure that our social safety net, that systems are put in place that would ensure not only increases in pension, but essential services like healthcare, that every single citizen can have a healthcare system that give them a high quality of service. Therefore, removing that cost from the ordinary family, the cost of lab services, the cost of MRI, the cost of dialysis treatment, the cost of medication, removing costs for pregnant mothers, incentivizing new birth, ensuring that our children have access to high quality health care free of cost, taking all of this cost away from the family, whilst at the same time giving you a higher level of service, investing and expanding in cancer treatment, in treatment for diabetes. All of these things are ways in which we are directly removing these costs from the ordinary family, costs of these essential services, supporting a higher quality of life and reducing poverty. And these are essential measures that help to enhance and improve our quality of life within the communities themselves. So it's education, it's health, it's water, it's electricity, it's cooking gas, it is community wealth, it is home ownership, it is jobs, creating jobs, expanding the part-time job program, it is expanding the income source for household income, it is increasing disposable income in the pockets of families, it is support to our pensioners, not only giving them higher pension, but ensuring they have to pay less for transportation, ensuring they have to pay less for health care. It's ensuring that anyone who need a spectacle, anyone who need, uh, 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 you know, support for dental services, that those costs are not financed from their income, but are financed from the government and initiatives from the government. That is how we are improving quality of life. That is how we are reducing costs on the ordinary family, expanding services, and giving access to essential services and addressing poverty directly. Whilst at the same time, expanding and building our economy, investing in the right sector, investing in mining, investing in the productive sector, ensuring that our sugar estates continue to operate, ensuring that bauxite continue to operate, so that the community that are not affected, so that the regional economy, the community economy are not affected. Building out and investing in new growth poles to create investment opportunity, manufacturing, industrial, agro-processing, building out the infrastructure to support the growth of the economy. All of these things are directly related to poverty reduction, because poverty reduction is economic growth, is creating social safety net. That is why we have not only specific initiative for children and women, but persons living with disability. We have specific initiative for persons living with disability. We have specific grants for single parents. We have the public assistance program. All of these programs will be expanded. And then what is it that is required for improving the quality of life? Not only world-class free education, and also ensuring that our children have that 8-subject CXC, but modernizing our school infrastructure and facilities countrywide, strengthening our school management and accountability, rolling out the digital school initiative to provide parents with an alternative mode of delivery, but importantly, giving our children access to device, ensuring that they have free access to data, because data is an important part of beating poverty. Technology is an important part of beating poverty. So we have to ensure we invest in the infrastructure, and that is what we are doing in the future, to ensure all our children have access to this technology, artificial intelligence, ensuring that every mother, every young person who wants to become a teacher can be trained, taking that expenditure away from the person. If you want to be a nurse, we take that expenditure away from you by providing the training free of cost, give you a stipend whilst you're being trained, and guarantee you employment after training. So I'm trying today, this afternoon, to outline to you this very deliberate and clear strategy that supports a specific social welfare program, an enhancement program, that look at a system where the taxation system must not add any burden. For a matter of fact, in the 5 years ahead of us, the taxation system will become less complex. It would allow more income in the pockets of people. It would ensure that every segment of the population grow, but more direct initiatives are pursued at the family level, the lower income level, the middle income level, supporting our young professionals so that they can have a high quality life. When we speak about the world class health care and how it's linked to poverty, if people can now have access to 12 new state of the art hospitals in every single region in our country, when people in the interior, through telemedicine, can have access to doctors anywhere in the world, through the medical system we're building, ensuring that we have 100% supply of drugs and medical supplies in all of our hospitals, all of our health centers, ensuring through the First Lady Initiative that every single young girl have their sanitary pads and that this does not become a burden upon the family. And one of the things that we have already decided is to expand the program of support to home for the elderly, to support the children home, and building out care centers so our young professionals now do not have to find resources to have someone taking care of their children while they pursue their career or while they go out earning. We're going to build these child-friendly care facility so that and staff it so that that again not only create employment and create earning opportunity, but it allows our young professional to pursue their career, removing that cost burden from them, and all of this add to economic growth, economic expansion, reduction of costs, and of course, greater savings and greater disposable income. So, as we pursue these initiatives, we also know that we have to support the productive sector. That is why our farmers can look for support, whether it's fertilizer, uh, drainage and irrigation, specific financing arrangement to support their production, agro-processing, developing markets, supporting those markets, packaging and drying facility. All of these things will be directed towards improving the productivity and profitability for our farmers. But we know also that we have to create a more direct way in which our population can access low cost produce from our farmers directly. That is why the farm to market infrastructure is important, including building out these farmers markets across our country so that all of the population can enjoy the price differentials that the wholesaler would enjoy. So it's building out this infrastructure. It's building out an ecosystem to support quality life, poverty reduction, and reduce the cost of living by direct intervention, by structural realignment, and by investment in growing and expanding the economy to create more jobs, to expand the traditional sectors, to make them more productive. These are the initiative that we are pursuing in a holistic way as we address quality of life, cost of living, and poverty. And when you look at our social welfare program, there's some key elements in there. In a consultation, how do we deal with public transport? In a way in which the cost burden on transportation for low income families, for children, for pensioners is addressed. How is it that we're going to address the transport costs for persons living in the hinterland? It's through building out the infrastructure, it's through investment in infrastructure, and it's through direct support to these different groups of vulnerability. And that is why there will be specific initiative. You will see a specific initiative that would lead to the reduction of transport costs at the individual level and also for goods and services. The new ferry to service Essequibo, an additional ferry. The new ferry to service Region 1. The new cargo boats that we're building to support our farmers to bring their produce to the market, reducing the costs for those families, reducing the costs for those low-income families, and all of this is subsidized. Free transportation to move our agriculture produce like the paddy and rice from Essequibo and other areas to the central market for export. Investing in port facility to export directly from the regions themselves. Building out agro-processing hub, cold storage hubs in a different region, removing that cost from our farmers, reducing spoilage, and extending the shelf life. All of these initiatives are to support the vulnerable, are to lift every segment out of the population out of poverty, addressing urban differentials, not only by giving them education in health and education and jobs and training, but also directly investing in those communities to create economic opportunity, to grow the economy, to support small businesses, to help with the use of technology in food production, even in those suburban and urban settings. These are the things that are going to lead us, leapfrog us into that holistic growth, economic expansion, and development that we're talking about. When we help our small miners, not only by removing the taxes on equipment, but help them to own 4x4 vehicles by reduction in taxes for those vehicles, helping them to bring them into consortium, to own their own machinery and equipment, helping them by investing in infrastructure to get them to the land so they can mine, and working with them in a direct way, the GGMC and the Gold Board, working with them in a direct way so that they can enjoy the high prices too, and they're not working to repay some large miner, but they're working directly with the system. Why is the system co-invest with the miners? Similarly, when you look at our young people, Guyanese, in the arts and culture, we have to invest with them to build every single segment that represents the arts, not only the artist, but the painter. Every single segment we have to bring as we develop this market, building out our tourism brand, creating a platform through which their product can be advertised, through which they can get exposure, investing in infrastructure to help them, to promote their talent. These are the things that would help specific group, but not only help them in a one-off way, but help them by building out a system, by building out a program that lead to long-term prosperity and sustainability. Our small foresters, our community forestry organization, supporting them with infrastructure, with the machinery, helping them to move their product easy to the market. Because transportation covers every segment of the economy. And the transport infrastructure that we are building is aimed at making transport easier, less costly, accessible within the city itself. So is growing out these opportunities. It is making it as accessible. It is the essential services, investment in the essential services that lead to this quality of life. And for our fisher folk and persons living in the hinterland and riverine community, we know too that we have to empower you. That is why we're speaking about removing the taxes on outboard engine after 150 horsepower, but helping you also to expand your income base, addressing issues of low catches by incentivizing the system, helping you with the capital, helping you with the material that is needed to expand your trade, expanding the swamp shrimp program, going into crab cage farming, expanding the prawns production program, the fish cage farming, supporting you with alternative means of income so that when shocks in the global system or shocks in areas that we have no control of occur, that there is an income support mechanism, that there is an income bolstering mechanism that is there to support you. So every single segment, every single area of vulnerability, and I've not covered it all. I just wanted to take a few moments this afternoon to address some of the specific groups so that you can know directly the strategies we are going to use to address poverty, to address cost of living and quality of life, because these are important things for us. These are the things that we're going to pursue in a comprehensive way in the next 5 years as we address poverty, cost of living, and economic expansion directly at the community level, at the regional level, and at the national level. Thank you for sharing your time with me this afternoon.